perilous times of great uncertainty, across every corner of a helpless world filled with terror and lies, the truth will be shouted by the only cable news channel you can trust. This is News Without Mercy.
Warning, the following contains images of animals in their natural habitat. Viewer discretion is advised.
Disclaimer, this video was made purely for documentary purposes in order to educate and entertain viewers. As is made self-evident in the video, I in no way condone nor celebrate any of the organizations or people depicted herein. The events depicted in the next presentation were heavily researched and are backed by primary and secondary sources that corroborate the information presented. I in no way intend to make light or promote the acts depicted, but simply intend to share these historical events with the general public. Thank you.
To get answers now regarding a deadly London police shooting. Kentucky State Police say an officer shot and killed Douglas Harless at his home in Lilly. That happened 11 days ago, and police have still not released many details.
Court documents now confirming that police were looking for a stolen weed eater.
I hate to say this, but it would never come to that if it wasn't whose stuff it was.
Man shot and killed in his home by London police officers.
Case centers around a stolen weed eater.
Details today after police in London and Kentucky shot and killed a man while allegedly serving a warrant at the wrong home.
Filed an open records request for the footage from the night of that shooting. They say there's no body camera footage from that night.
I want to talk about a fucking weed eater. Don't steal a weed eater, because it might get you killed.
It lets the public see how we are, that we are human. We're not these robots out there just mindlessly going around, unruly treating people.
On December 23rd, Kentucky State Police say a London police officer shot and killed Douglas Harless at his home.
He's too good, man.
Kentucky State Police say Douglas Harless was shot and killed by a London police officer during an attempt to serve a search warrant on the night of December 23rd. They say it happened at Harless's home, 511 Van Zant Road in Lilly. Dispatch audio says police were attempting to serve a warrant at 489 Van Zant. Court records say the warrant was connected to an investigation regarding stolen lawn equipment. Hobart Buttry is accused of stealing a weed eater from property public records show is owned by the Laurel County Judge Executive. He was arrested just hours before Harless was killed. His citation says he told police the weed eater was at a home in Lilly.
I told them on Van Zant Road there was a weed eater there, and they took it to where they wanted to go with that.
Let me try to set the scene. Someone stole the judge's weed eater. This piece of shit says he knows where it is. What is it? 11 o'clock at night?
Tonight! He's not here, is he? No, he gonna meet you tonight. Tonight? What happened to right now?
Let's get some of the boys together and go get the judge's weed eater.
I am sorry for what happened to that man. I really am. It never supposed to happen like that. If I knowed anything like that, I would never bothered a weed eater. And that's all it was a weed eater.
Well, WKYT has filed several open records requests to obtain a copy of the search warrant London police were attempting to serve that night. As of today, the Laurel County Court says they still have not received a copy.
Now, fortunately, I got the address right here. The piece of shit told me the address. Gonna cruise right over here to 489 whatever the fuck Avenue and get that fucking weed eater. Swarm! Swarm!
Well, I am over fucking whelmed. What do you want for that, a junior G-Man badge?
While KSP initially made no mention of whether Harless was armed at the time, 3 days after the shooting, London police said he was armed and pointed a gun at officers. WKYT's open records request for body camera footage from that night was denied.
I told them on Van Zant Road there was a weed eater there.
489 Van Zant Road. Units on scene can serve search warrant.
And they went to the wrong address, is what that was.
I'm a good citizen. I'm Donald Duck.
This is the police. You better give us that weed eater. What do you mean you don't have the weed eater?
Van
Guys?
Zant Zant Road, 489 Van Zant Road.
Van Zant Road, stand by in the area, shots fired.
Where they go?
They were at 489 Van Zant Road, serving a search warrant.
What's the number on that address? 489. This is supposed to be 489. This says 511. This is the police. You better give us that weed eater. What do you mean you don't have the weed eater? Whoa, is that a gun?
Then after the shooting, the officers apparently have not called it in. They instead sort of regroup and they have this sort of huddle in this poor guy's yard as if to get their facts straight.
Oh shit. Hey everybody, come over here. Okay, look. Here's what happened here. Shouldn't we call the guy in, because he might be dying right there laying on the floor bleeding to death? Let's have a meeting first.
If it's between you and some poor bastard whose wife you're gonna turn into a widow, brother, you are going down.
This isn't some bullshit I made up. This is Kentucky. The London Kentucky police. Went to the wrong house. Banged on a guy's door and accused him of stealing a weed eater. And then shot him and then told no one. And keep that on the down low until we get our story straight. Oh, by the way, they don't have a fucking warrant. Judge says he wouldn't even have the authority to sign that warrant. Probably because the case is about him. Now, either the judge is lying or the police are lying. But we can't accuse the police of lying because they haven't said shit.
As Lauren Miner tells us, the suspect in the theft had already been arrested hours before the shooting.
I just don't understand why it went to this. I mean, how did it lead to this? I know that's what everybody else is asking too.
49-year-old Hobart or Hobie Buttery is currently behind bars at the Laurel County Correctional Center charged with theft. Thursday afternoon, he appeared in front of a judge for a preliminary hearing. He then agreed to a sit-down interview.
I got a weed eater and a little heater, a little baseboard heater like that, was sitting on the outside, but now they're saying I went in and took backpacks, weed eater, blowers and everything.
According to Buttery's arrest citation, officers were called to Taylor Drive in London for a reported burglary. Police say lawn equipment was stolen from the property.
I think of asses.
Laurel County Judge Executive David Westerfield.
Last Sunday night, there was items stolen from my property. What was stolen did not belong to me. It belonged to a person that was using my garage to store his equipment in. And I was out of town when this happened. I knew nothing more than that about it.
But you do not get to watch my fucking television.
They're releasing nothing. Hell, we got this damn footage from the neighbor's security camera. The man who they shot has a security camera. They haven't released that footage either.
Many are wondering if the response was appropriate for the report of stolen property.
According to Hobart Buttery's arrest citation, he's accused of stealing a Steel brand weed eater and a heater. He told officers that he pawned that heater and then dropped off the weed eater at a home on Van Zant Road. That neighborhood, though, is somewhat confusing now that we're talking about 3 different addresses. We know 511 was the home of Douglas Harless, who was shot and killed by London officers, but 489 was the address dispatchers believe that those officers were at, and 515 is the former address of Hobart Buttery. Police estimate the value of those stolen items is more than $1,000, but less than $10,000. Buttery's been charged with theft by unlawful taking. But because of the value of the property, that makes it a Class D felony here in Kentucky. State statute says someone convicted of a Class D felony shall serve at least 1, but not more than 5 years in prison. Essentially, Harless ended up dead during a police investigation into a Class D felony, which isn't even one of the strongest theft charges in the state.
What boggles my mind is that there's no evidence they ever went to the right fucking address.
Citation says camera footage led officials to Buttery, who admitted to taking a heater and weed eater. The Manchester Police Department arrested him the evening of December 23rd. Police say Buttery admitted that he planned to take the weed eater to a home in Lilly. Buttery denies that claim. According to an affidavit for the search warrant, information obtained through the investigation led London police to a home on Van Zant Road.
5 times they said that we're at 489. They were constantly talking on the radio, back and forth with the dispatch. But not after they shot a dude 5 times.
We still got bait. Maybe some time. Got. What do we got? What do we got?
Units on scene can serve search warrant. Call on the radio for assistance. Shots fired. 489 Van Zant Road.
They had a meeting first. Which is fucking weird. In every movie I ever saw. As the guy's in the damn shooting, he's shots fired, shots fired. Right? Isn't that how Al Pacino does it?
I think it's wrong. I mean, every bit of that's wrong. The way they done it, everything's wrong. I mean, they didn't have no reason to go to that man's house. I didn't tell them nothing about that man. So I don't know why they was at that man's house, period. Okay. I didn't tell them no address. I didn't tell them nothing like that.
Buttery says he knew Harless and talked to him several times when they lived near each other. He says that's why he's sharing his story.
It should never led to this right here. Not a stolen weed eater should not lead up to a man getting killed. I don't care where you're at, what's going on, that should not have happened.
You understand what I'm saying? I get killed for telling you this shit.
Killed walking your doggy.
What the fuck? And I've seen Law and Order. Don't you need to check the number on the fucking door?
The footage doesn't exist. Now, through another records request, we've learned London police no longer wear body cameras. According to this directive from then Chief Chuck Johnson, the department, quote, temporarily suspended their use. He said, quote, the department is examining the feasibility of body-worn cameras based on the cost and benefits.
Who the hell serves a warrant at 11:51 at night for a frickin' weed eater? It's not like he was inside the house with a gun to somebody's head. Let's say it was the right guy. It's a fucking weed eater. I've had one too. I'm so glad I didn't call the cops when my weed eater was stolen. Because if they went and shot the guy who had my weed eater, I'd feel pretty fucking shitty about that. But you know, it's the judge's weed eater. Now, did these fucking vigilantes just go out on their own initiative to go get somebody's weed eater? Or were they told to? Or is this whole thing a bullshit fuck up? Look at this footage. They swarmed this house. I hear all the time about how blue cities and blue states just are soft as hell on crime. At least we don't shoot people over weed eaters. I'd like to hope that if someone does get shot, by God, I hope it's the right guy. You know, because we double-checked the number on the door. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. London, Kentucky, and the Kentucky State Police need to release everything immediately. Let the shit fall where it may. You know, downhill to somebody who was not at fault ever. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. I already said that, actually. But while I'm here, hey, subscribe, please. Tell somebody else to subscribe. If you know somebody who has any reason to subscribe,
great ass!
Show them your favorite video, if you have one.
Buttery will be back in court January 17th, and he remains on a $10,000 bond. Back to you.